people just throw silicone in it. The problem with silicone is it's going to be really hard to get out if you get it out. If you use something like duct seal compound battery, and as you can see, it started the charge process. Now we'll let you see. Here's my little addition I've made out here for security. I've got one of my ring cams set up out here, connected onto the ladder rack with the solar panel, and of course it connects to my Wi-Fi then. That way I get a good view of the door here if anybody approaches it during the times I'm not here. I think that'll work out really great. So just a little tip, if you've got a box on top of your conversion or your RV that has a solar going through it, whether it's a solar gland or an IP65 box like this one is, and you've got a conduit going down through or just an opening. A lot of people just tend to fill this full of silicone. The problem with silicone is it's hard to get out. If you use this duct seal, it'll be a little bit easier to get it out when you need to get it out, and eventually we all need to replace wires or get something out. So to fill that opening on your roof like that to prevent moisture from getting down and condensating, use duct seal. So there we go. That'll last a long time. It'll keep that condensation and that moisture from coming, that moist air from coming up here and condensating, and you'll be able to get it out later on. So here we are in my studio, and as you can see, I've brought in another 100 amp hour 12 volt EcoFlow battery. I've decided to increase my battery bank to 400 amp hour. After the first test camping trip, I did discover that if I would have gone that full 3 days without any sun, so to speak, to recharge the batteries, I would have nearly depleted the battery bank. So I really kind of wanted to add another battery to the collective. And of course, there are many ways I could have charged it other than solar, but I'm being proactive here. So I got to get this battery up to 100%. So the way I like to do it is this Noco 1 amp charger. This thing is amazing. It's the Noco Genius 1. And it's going to sit here and it's going to very slowly charge this battery. It's been on here now about a day and a half, and it'll probably go another day and a half. It'll probably be 3 days by the time it fully charges this 12 volt 100 amp hour battery and brings it up to 100%. So along with that, I've also made my cables. Now my battery bank is paralleled, each battery separately to the bus bar, then through the shunt into the Lynx distributor. So with that being said, I got to make sure that all my battery cables are exactly the same length, and I do make them within an inch or closer. So these are 36-inch cables I have all ready to go. And when this battery reaches 100%, I can take this out and I'm going to add it to my battery bank so I can get the 400 amp hours. And I also will be reprogramming the Victron shunt then to reflect the 400 amp hour battery bank. Okay, it's been a little bit over 48 hours. And as you can see, the Noco 1 is saying we've got a green light and the battery is charged. So we are ready to go ahead and add this to the collective. Okay, I'm ready to install that fourth battery in my lineup. I've cleaned up the area in here. Gonna put a rubber mat in here and drop the battery in here and gonna get it connected after it has been 100% charged. And this was kind of the plan, to leave this spot open here to add one if I wanted to add one, and I'm going to. So I've got my fourth battery mounted over here. I got it sandwiched in pretty good. Rubber on 3 sides of it with the 2x4s. Not the prettiest, but it's not going anywhere. So what the next step is, I've gone ahead and I've cleared up on the bus bars, making sure I've got a spot to add the fourth battery. Of course, the cable's pre-made. It's the exact same length that the other ones are. Very important. So I will go ahead and attach it on here. Now, I did have to move. I had the Servo GX wire on at the end of the positive bus, and I did move it down here. The other wire down here is for the Victron shunt. So the two of those are now together on the end of this bus bar, and I'm going to be adding this. So what I made sure to do is I taped the other end of the cable as I add these. So I'm going to add these and use my torque wrench and torque these down, and we will have it set up to hook them up to the battery. And there we go. We're connected on the bus. Wires come down underneath and we are connected to the battery and we are torqued. Now all I got to do is reprogram the Victron shunt for 400 amps and it's a done deal. We have added another 100 amp hours to the collective for a total of 400 amp hours. I do want to add that while I was in here, I did go through and everything I could get to, I torqued with my Tecton torque wrench. Nice small 1/4 inch torque wrench. It works really good for this. I went through and I retorqued all the stuff that I could get to, make sure that it's all tight in. There was nothing loose. I was surprised. And it was 6 months ago that I built this, so here's my new Rhino macerator kit I'm going to use to pump out the black and gray tanks. The only problem is my cable is like tight as a banjo string from my outlet to be able to plug it in. Now I can plug it in, it does work. I'll show you where my outlet is. So my outlet is right here. And my 3-inch gate valve is right here for the black and gray water. So not long enough. And I mean, it'll plug in and run, but I got to add some link to it. So what I am going to do is I got some number 12 stranded THHN. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to add to the length of this thing, heat shrink some butt splices on there, and we're going to make it work. So I'm finally getting my power jack installed. Yes, I did decide for price, weight, efficiency, etc., and reviews to go ahead with the Harbor Freight Haulmaster. I just saw so many reviews on this. People really like this jack. They said it worked well. It's got a light on it. It's got the manual crank. So I've got it thrown on here, put on here. I didn't throw it on here. And I'm going to get this wired. So as you might remember, I came up with this piece of liquid tight from the nose. So there's my 30 amp circuit coming from the number 1 12 volt panel. And that is on the starboard side in the electrical room. So that comes all the way over here through another raceway, then out here through this liquid tight. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect it up to here. And what I've got, I'm not going to run the liquid tight up all the way because I do need to splice it. So I've got some of this wire loom that I'm going to use right here. So I'll go ahead and I'll use some wire loom. I've got some heat shrink. I've got some number 1210 butt splices, and we'll get this all spliced up and hooked up. Then we'll have this electric tongue jack on here, no more cranking. So I got my wire loom pushed down into my liquid tight here, and I've got them spliced, and I've got my heat shrink, so I'm going to heat shrink them, put them in the wire loom, and wire loom it up to here, and then get it tie wrapped nice and tight, and I think we're going to have a done deal here. It'll look pretty nice. All right, so we got it powered up. Let's see if our light works. Yep, we got a light. I've taken out the front jacks so I can lower it. Looks like it works. Slow, but I did expect that. Most of them are very slow. Actually, it kind of goes up a little bit faster. Now, I still got the rear jacks in the back, so I'm going to have to be real careful. I'm not trying to lift this entire trailer with that jack. I think I might break it trying to lift the entire trailer. So I'll have to put my level on here and take my time and put it back. But I did want to give it a try. The only thing I'm a little bit disturbed about, and this is the electrician in me, so I can't find any place on the website, in the material on the jack, what I need to fuse this thing for properly to protect it. I know that might be a little OCPD, but I got number 10s coming out here. But I'm not going to fuse this at 30 amps. That's too much. So I did fuse it at 20 amps. I don't think it has any internal overcurrent protection. I'll do some more research, but I want to get this thing closely fused. I mean, if I can get away with a 10 or a 15 amp fuse, that's what I'm going to do. I'm a big believer in making sure I fuse things close to protect them as well as the wire. And again, we could get 30 amps on this wire, but that's not what we're going to fuse it for. All right, so I think we got it working. It's going to make things a lot easier, especially when I get my weight distribution kit put on. I just always seem to know how to make a mess, I'll tell you. So, got the second MPPT controller mounted up here. Got number 10s for my input because it is protected by the 30 amp breaker, and it's number 10s that go out through the connector through the trailer wall. So we got number 10s, which is good for the 30 amps. Then I had number 6 left over. So in case I ever change the MPPT controller out, if I want a bigger one, I've already got bigger cable already set up. So number 6s. Then I went down to a 30 amp fuse and the links distributor. Give you a better view of that. So as you can see, I've got my number 6s that come into the end of the links distributor. Got my 30 amp fuse to protect the MPPT controller correctly. I could have had much bigger, obviously, with the wire, but I want to stay the same, so keep everything by the book, so to speak. So there we go. I don't think, unfortunately, my data cable for the from the Servo GX over to the MPPT controller is going to be long enough. I'm going to have to see if I can get a longer cable. I had a 3-foot cable. It's just not going to be long enough. I might stretch it like a banjo string to do some programming and get it set up, but that's going to be about the best I can do. I don't even know if I can do that. Maybe if I rearrange these down here, I might make it. We'll have to take a look and see. All right, so hopefully today, unfortunately, is not a day to even be testing it. There isn't any sun out there. As a matter of fact, my roof panels haven't even reached float yet today. We're still in absorption. So I know I'm not going to get anything to speak of here.